I'm Tiffany Young with IdeateTV, and I'm here with Miki Yamashita. She is an opera singer, a comedian. Tell us about your career, how you got started. This is for the people that weren't at this panel just now that I was so lucky to be a part of. Just tell us a little brief history on how you got into your profession and a little bit about your journey.
Well, I grew up in Massachusetts, and I was singing all the time as a child, and I went to New England Conservatory of Music to study classical voice, and I was also interested in many other things, though. I was interested in doing comedy, in regular theater, in musical theater, and so I did a lot of that, and did many national touring productions, A Chorus Line, The King and I, a lot of musical theater. And then when I came, and I started doing television work and all kinds of other jobs, but then when I came to Los Angeles, I started getting involved with Los Angeles Opera because they have a wonderful community engagement and outreach program. And for those projects, we do English versions of classic operas, and we like to have very engaging big personalities who also have classical voice training. And so that's how I became involved again in singing classical music, which has been wonderful. And so I'm continuing to do a lot of work with outreach for LA Opera.
One thing that I thought was really interesting is when you mentioned how you liked all these things, you had all these interests, you liked opera, you liked acting, and you had this thought like, well, how am I going to take all this together? And I think a lot of people in the entertainment industry are like, you have to pick one area of focus and then stick with it. Talk a little bit more about how you sort of fused all of your interests together and how it worked out.
Well, in the entertainment industry, there's no real blueprint or magic, silver bullet for success, right? So you kind of end up having to carve your own path, and that's totally okay. If you're going to be a dentist or you're going to be a doctor, there are definite steps for you to take to be able to achieve those goals. It's pretty linear, but in the arts, the good thing is that you can decide for yourself what is important to you, and then pursue all of it at the same time if you like to, and that's kind of what I did. So.
I also loved your slideshow about it was the myths of what you thought was going to happen, and one thing that you had mentioned was it wasn't going to be a waiting game. Talk a little bit more about that, and I know that kind of goes along with what you just said about creating opportunities, but for the people that weren't here to watch the panel, talk a little bit more. It was really inspiring, and this can be for people out there watching that are looking for some inspiration on how do you create opportunities.
So a lot of actors have to do a lot of waiting around for auditions to come. And so the misperception is that you do have to kind of sit around and wait until someone calls you for an audition or calls you to want to represent you or do things with you. But what you can actually do is to create your own projects and to be creative in pursuing what you want to do. And so you can take action for yourself and decide, you know what, I'm going to get together with a couple of friends and we're going to read scenes together. Or I'm getting together with 5 of my friends and we're going to make a funny video and put it up on YouTube. And we're going to engage with, the other actors around each other. We can all engage with each other to create something. And you just never know that which one of those people can think of you and say, oh, you know what, I'm doing this project next week and I remember that Miki was really great in this. Why don't I ask her and that's how you build your reputation, really from scratch. And the more you're creating things on your own, the more you're creating opportunities for your peers, the more you become known through your peers, and the more you're able to establish yourself and say, hey, I'm someone who has things going on. And then all of a sudden other people notice, and casting people notice and goes, oh, this is an enterprising person who doesn't just wait around. She creates her own opportunities, and people are really drawn to that.
With an organization like NAAAP, how important is that for the community to take part in events like this and to support each other?
Right. So it's organizations like NAAAP and these types of events that are for Asian Americans to meet each other. This again is at the grassroots level, a way for us to get to know each other, so that when something comes up, we think, oh, that person that I met at that conference, I wonder what they're up to, and then you call them up and see if they're down to work on a project with you. And chances are they are going to be because you met them face to face and you didn't just find them randomly and stalk them on Facebook. It's you met them and you actually had dinner with them, or you went to an event with you took part in a panel discussion with them or something. And so it's just so important for us to meet face to face and to know that there's a whole community out there that wants to collaborate with you and wants to see you do well, and you want to see them do well. So it's just such a great chance for Asian Americans to meet each other and to know that we're not by ourselves in a vacuum trying to get things done. We're all kind of in it together.
Some very encouraging words. Thank you so much for that. And for the people that want to know, where can we follow you? How can we keep up with the projects that you're working on? Where can we find you?
Well, my website is MikiYamashita.com. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, I'm Miki410. 410 is because I'm 4'10", so I'm little. So that's how you can remember my Twitter handle.